Folks, my name is Scott Moore and you're watching Whack Outdoors. It's a blustery day in December, kind of cold and cloudy, but I wanted to get out here and make a video for my friend Ben Thomas from Spikes Tactical and the Mookie Militia. I met Ben a couple years ago at the Big 3 East, which is a media event down in Daytona Beach. I've got to do several events with him in the past couple of years, and I've had the pleasure of meeting his wife and his son. Ben's son Gryphon got to shoot a bow at my booth back in the spring. So at the fall media event, I gave Ben a little bow and a little quiver full of arrows here to give to Gryphon. And those went home with Ben, and I know Gryphon has been shooting them, and lo and behold, I get a little video on Instagram from Gryphon.
Use them. Thank you for my bow and arrows. Can you teach me how to use them?
Now, after a request like that, how can you not come through, right? So bear with me, and I'm going to set the camera up a little bit different, and we're going to see if we can't show Gryphon how to shoot his bow. And the first topic that I want to address before we ever get a bow in our hand is that when we set up to shoot at a target, we want to make sure that we're standing directly in front of that target. We want to make sure that we're not off to this side, off to this side, that we're standing directly in front of the target. And I have this yellow rope stretched out tight on the ground to show that, and we're going to use this rope as our center line to the target. We're going to base our shooting position and our stance and everything off of this yellow rope for a good visual reference. Alright, this is our center line. The yellow rope is our center line going straight to the target. For a right-handed shooter, my back foot is my right foot, and I'm going to step that onto the shooting center line right on the arch or the instep of my foot. My front foot closest to the target is my left foot. I'm going to set that, the ball of it, right on that line. So my back foot is straddle the line. My front foot, the ball of my foot is on the line, about shoulder width apart. And this is the stance that I want to have directly in front of the target to make sure that I'm set up to make a good, accurate shot. Alright, to give you the quick rundown, we have a bow right here with a very simple straight handle on it. The bow will be held in the left hand for a right-handed shooter. We're going to open our hand up, and we're going to set the handle of the bow right on the heel of our thumb with our lifeline just to the left of the handle. So we're going to grab and hold the bow just like this. The arrow that goes on the bowstring has 3 feathers, and 1 feather is a different color. That is called the cock feather. The 2 feathers that are same color are called the hen feathers. The cock feather goes out. You'll notice there is a knock on the string, and the knock on the arrow goes under the string knock with the different colored feather straight out, and it sits on the rest. So we are going to hold the bow like we showed you on the heel of your hand, and with your drawing hand we're going to use your first 3 fingers. Your index finger goes on top of the string, and your middle finger and ring finger goes under the string. So we're going to hold the bow just like this. When we stand at the shooting line with the stance that I showed you and prepare for our shot, we have our bow held on the heel of our thumb. We have our arrow knocked under the knock set on the string. We're going to put our index finger on top, middle finger, ring finger below. We're going to make a real good hook with our finger, and we're going to put this on the string deep into that first joint. We're going to hold our bow at a relaxed position, kind of on our hip. We want our feet shoulder width apart. We want our tummy tucked in, our chest out, shoulders back, a nice erect stance, and we're going to use this shoulder as a hinge and just bring the bow straight up to the target with our arm naturally extended, not hyperextended, but not collapsed in. Just hinge up with your shoulder and address the target. With your drawing hand and your 3 fingers on the string, as we bring our bow up, we're going to draw the bow by bringing our elbow back behind our shoulder. The thing I want you to watch for when you pull the bow back, we don't want to pull the bow back with our elbow down close to our body. We don't want to pull the bow back with our elbow out and draw to our face. We want to take our elbow, and as we draw the bow, we want to raise it up and back and around and end up with it back behind our shoulder. To show you what this looks like when I'm addressing the target, I'm standing on that center line, back foot, straddle it, front foot, got the ball of the foot on the rope. I'm holding my bow at a ready position. I'm going to use my shoulder, my front shoulder as a hinge. Just hinge the bow up, arm naturally extended, draw the bow back, elbow back behind the shoulder. I'm going to draw and put my middle finger in the corner of my mouth. When we come to full draw and release the string, what we want to do is come up with our 3 fingers on the string, put our middle finger in the corner of our mouth. We're going to stare at the target. I'm going to tell you how to aim in a minute. And when we release the string, just let your fingers drag down the side of your face and end up on your shoulder. I like to release, come down the side of my face, and drop my thumb down on the top of my shoulder. What that does when I release, that keeps everything in line. We don't want to release out like this. We don't want to release down like this. We want a nice smooth release, everything in line, come straight back and drop onto my shoulder. Now, as far as aiming, when you shoot a bow like this with no sights, we're dealing with a very young child here. To keep him on target and to give him some sort of a point of reference to shoot his bow, it is human nature to use the tip of the arrow as a sight and want to put the tip of the arrow on the bullseye. But because we're going to pull this bow back and anchor at the corner of the mouth, you will see that the arrow, the back of the arrow, is several inches below the eye. So if we use the point of the arrow as a sight, the arrow is canting up like this, and you're going to shoot very high. So if we want to use the point of an arrow as a sight and a reference, we're going to have to put the point of the arrow at the bottom of the target. I'm going to recommend that you stay about 20 feet away from the target, and that when we come to full draw, put the point of the arrow about a foot below the bullseye, and then look at the bullseye and shoot and see where your arrow impacts and adjust from there. I'm going to go ahead and shoot a couple of shots and just let you see the execution of a shot and what it looks like. Now that we're shooting, I'm going to grab some brighter feathers so we can see where they're going and what's going on. And again, I'll execute a shot here. We're going to take and we're going to put the arrow on the bowstring. Odd colored feather out. Mine are all white, so we can see on the video. We're going to grab the bow on the heel of our thumb, put our 3 fingers on the bowstring, 1 above, 2 under, and when we pull the bow back, you're going to find 2 difficulties that you might encounter. One is, if he wants to grab the bow like this and the arrow, to hold the arrow on the bow, what happens is, when he pulls the string, this is going to happen. Because it's hard to coordinate letting this go and pulling the bow. So if we run into this right here, this is what's happening. So we're going to have to get this finger off of the arrow. If, when the bow is being drawn back, we have this situation right here, it's because what we're doing is we're scrunching up the hand to try to get the power and the strength to pull the bow back, and we're rolling the fingers and rolling the arrow off the bow. The answer to that is to keep the back of the hand straight, not scrunched up, straight. Take a good deep hook with the fingers on the string, keep the back of the hand straight. When we pull straight back, the arrow will stay on the rest. So we're going to execute a couple of shots and see what that looks like. Now, I know that you guys that shoot understand the importance of consistent shooting and shooting a good group. I just came out with this bow. This is an adult version of the one that Gryphon has. Obviously not the bow I hunt with all the time, but I just executed those shots for you, and we're going to take a look here and see how we did. And you can see right here that even though these arrows did not impact in the bullseye, we shot a real nice group there. There's a 3-arrow group there. It's not too big and not too shabby. We'll make some quick adjustments and we'll shoot for accuracy. Alright, Gryphon, let's let a couple of arrows fly and see how we do. Alright, buddy, hope that helps, and I promise we'll make it down to Florida and we'll check you out and help you and get you shooting. Take care.